good day, my friends. My name is Tracy Repchuk, and I'm the host of Reach Millions TV, an entrepreneurial lifestyle and learning channel, where I will educate and introduce you to some of the greatest powerhouses in their fields. Now, as an entrepreneur for over 37 years, I've had the good fortune to appear in Forbes over 27 times, speak in 39 countries, appeared on NBC, ABC, CBS, Fox, won awards from the Senate, the Assembly, the White House, and President Obama, written 9 #1 international bestsellers. And from that journey, I have reached millions with my message. So I wanted to make sure you knew how to do this too, with specialized trainings and by introducing you to the people that can help you find more leads, make more sales, and reach millions with your message. You can find out more about me at tracyrepchuk.com and reachmillionsacademy.com. So today we're going to talk about the forgotten focus. Now, I want you to tell me, guess if you guess in the chat what you think the forgotten focus is. Okay, waiting. What do you think everybody forgets about in their planning? Connections is a good start. Yeah, we all need some connections. Remember, we're goal setting. We're setting and getting our goals. Steps, yeah. And so as we played in module 2, our class number 2, we were going through the steps. The why is a good one. That's kind of, again, back in the planning stages about, you know, why are you even doing this? What gets you up in the morning? So these are all good. Celebrations, yes, that's always fun. If we've made a target, let's celebrate. We're not quite there yet, though. We're going to get there at the end. Module 6 is all about that. Keeping statistics, very important. That was actually in module 2, where you need to track and measure what it is that you're doing. But what are we tracking and measuring? Let's see if we come up with that one. I love all of these answers because it tells you how forgotten it is. This is so good. Revisit our goals, review and adjust, production, engagement, SMART goals, get it done. Okay, you're getting close now, Angela. KPIs, what are key performance indicators we need to be looking at? We need to be focused on. Focus is a good one. Without focus, honestly, it's how people get in a mess without focus. So good one too. Keep going, keep them coming. I need to say ding, ding, ding. It tells you. Ideal scenes, always good. That's where the planning is, right? That back to the planning stage. You're here, you want to be here. What are the steps that will get you to where you want to go? Good, good. We still are forgetting. End goals, always good, right? So what would an example of an end goal be that will help us focus in on the forgotten focus? Excuse me, Dave, you don't get to play. You've been seeing me present this for the last 20 years. Okay, we're getting closer. Sales, Maria. Yes, sales. Bing, 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 ding, ding, ding. Okay, that is the thing. And it's not the selling per se, right? The forgotten focus is, here we go. And again, we did the 3 steps of success. We did staying profitable. And now we're at the forgotten focus. Coming up is the powerful 3 M's, the 4 quadrants of vision, and the secret sauce. And there it is. The forgotten focus is the money. And it's such a funny thing. You can see whether we skirt around it, whether we don't think about it, whether it's an assumption, right? That like, of course, we got to make money because that's going to pay the bills, right? But the bottom line is that which you put your attention on is the thing that grows. So if we're sitting there putting our attention on productivity, just production for the sake of production's sake, let's say, guess what happens? We go into social media and we're doing all sorts of memes and we're posting and everything, and 4 days later, we got a lot of social media, some likes and everything's fun, but the bank account is empty. Right? And again, building relationships, also really good, right? We need our relationships. We love be connected because of our relationships that we're all building, right? But at the end of the day, some of those relationships you'd like to turn into clients and therefore turn into cash. I got a lot of people saying, I can relate to this, the forgotten focus. Yes, and again, inviting, all of these things are great. All of those activities need to start to move to what is exactly going to be putting money in your bank account. So this is why we create in our office a cash calendar. All right. So this is an activity I want you to do. And I want you to say yourself, okay, I'm going to have a calendar. And I really don't care what that calendar looks like. All right, like you'll see this, right? This is a my Google an example of my Google Calendar, right? Or iCal. I think I use iCal. And so I am in there all the time. And why is it so important to map out? You need to map out 30 days at the I'll say at the worst case scenario, you need to map out 30 days. And here's why. You must have activities on your calendar that you're going to put in green. Do you see how we have green here as an example, right? These greens means these are money-making opportunities. Now, what does that mean? That means that, let's say you're heading out to a live networking event, you're an eWomen or Speakers Association or a chamber or a Rotary or any of these, right? You're heading to a networking event. That would go on your calendar as, green. And so yay, now we're heading out and I'm going to go do a cash potential activity. It doesn't mean cash is rolling in on the day, but you need cash potential opportunities and you need them often. They cannot be, 2% of your calendar. If you look at your calendar and it is not predominantly green, that means you've got a problem. It means that you're not going to make money that month, because you constantly need to first fill the pipeline, right? Because it often can take 6 to 8 weeks from the start of an activity until 6 to 8 weeks later before that initial activity proves to you or shows to you that it was a worthwhile activity and it produced income. We used to do this all the time back in my software days. We would do a trade show and we'd be sitting there at the trade show thinking, God, this is a waste of time. I hate doing trade shows. Why are we even here? But it was a cash calendar event, right? So it'd be on the cash calendar. There it is. Super. We're 4 days at a trade show. That means 4 days on the cash calendar. And then we'd go away thinking, what a waste of time, whatever, right? But 6 to 8 weeks later, somehow we'd get a call. Hey, you know what? I saw you at Comdex and I'd like to talk to you about a software project we're looking at. Boom, right? And so if you're also not tracking the relationship between the activity and the possible conversion, then that also, leads you to sometimes believe what you're doing is a waste of time. So like, for example, social media broad scoped can be a waste of time, right? You can't put that on if you're going to do social media every day, you really can't put that on the calendar as a cash item. It is a good item. It is somewhat of a form of promotion, but it's so passive. It's almost like a hope versus a strategy. And so what you want to do, if you want social media to be part and parcel of your cash creation, then you have to be more aggressive. So in I do a whole social media training where I talk about the fact that 80% of your posts need to be content and 20% need to be an ask. So how does social media make it to your cash calendar? It's from the ask. So if, for example, you're doing a cash invoking post that day, you can put it on your cash calendar. So those look like lead generation posts. So let's say you're doing a post and you're like, hey, I got a super free gift for you today. And you got a picture of the gift and go and claim it, right? And so you're driving them to a landing page where they're going to give you the name and the email address. And then you're going to nurture them in your email marketing funnel to the point that you hope that they buy something. That is a potential cash flow. That's like going out and networking. Again, if you're jumping on Zoom calls, and I want you to watch those though. When I say Zoom calls, I mean Zoom networking. What the networking has turned into. I was in the beginning, I was attending networking events on Zoom and realized they can't even be qualified as cash anymore. Whereas I used to go to physical, we used to meet at a golf course, everything was great. You'd mingle, you'd exchange a couple of business cards. But a bunch of people looking at each other on Zoom now and not being able to almost meet more deeply to the point where you can almost have a conversation, to the point where you can perhaps, elicit an ask or referral or something from it, started to become a non-cash activity. So I actually dropped 3 networking events during this entire cycle that, we're not networking live simply because they're not converting at all. And you could tell they aren't simply because of the format the company took on, and that's, or the organization took on. And so those are things to look at as well. What is the format? And then you'll know whether it can possibly lead to something, because there's a lot of good ones out there as well that are very focused on you getting 2 minutes to talk, for example, or you getting an opportunity to make an ask, or to really get more deeper by them moving you into meeting rooms where you talk to each other about what you do. Things like that work. And so just take a look at the activities that you are doing. Now, other cash focused activities are when you are doing a webinar. Huge cash activity. You guys already have the webinar training in the back end, right? I tell you how to do it. So what you want to start thinking about is, what do I have to sell? And so you're going to take a good look at that. You're going to make a list of what you have to sell. Then you're going to go to your cash calendar and you're going to say, I need a green item on here. What can I do today to elicit an action or a potential future, even immediate cash activity? And so start to take a look from that perspective. Now, for example, if I saw some people in the beginning of the call say, I've got an appointment with an association. Well, ding, 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 that is a major cash action. So if you went and, let's say you were in LinkedIn, or you went through your Rolodex, or you went through all of the people or business cards and things of that nature, and you said, wow, these 5 are actually groups. I could approach them and get a meeting and then talk to them about this opportunity and get them enrolled into the Be Associates program. Well, man, if that's not a cash calendar activity, I don't know what is. Now, for many of you, if you have your own business as well, of course, you're going to integrate all of that. But so many activities for a lot of people have just switched, given where we are now. Whether you used to go out speaking, or you used to going out to networking, all those are cash calendar activities. Anytime you go and speak somewhere, that's a green mark on your calendar. If you're doing a let's see what else, a meeting, attending meetings. If you are, going to live seminar trainings where you can mingle in the crowd. I mean, obviously now attending these like 3-day virtual events, if you're going for the content, super, but that's not a cash calendar activity then. All right. And unlike if you were there live, you would be getting the content, and that's a cash calendar activity because you're going to be scanning that audience for possible people that you can serve. And so that's how it becomes a cash calendar. That's how the allocations work. All righty. So post in the chat area here. Let's see. Zoom meetings are missing. Zoom calls are missing the 5 to 10 minutes before the one-on-one meetings. And that's a good point too, right? Because what did we used to do when we networked live? Let's say it started at 1 o'clock. We would all show up at 12:30, and that's where the mingling and the networking happened, and then it turned to the networking event. And so you are correct there, Colleen, in that, and that is a missing element to it now being a cash activity. Okay, so let's see. Good. Okay, yes. So throw out some cash activities that you can start to put on your calendar. Not a concept I ever thought of. I just took it for granted. Yes, exactly. And thanks for the focus. Okay, so here is why it's important, right? When you look at your calendar, if there isn't green on it now and moving forward in the future, then you know that's going to be a lean month. You can't produce cash from, unicorns, right? And so you need to get really conscious on your activities. And even if you did it once a week, even if you said, okay, every Thursday, I'm going to make that my cash calendar day. I'm not going to let anything get in my way. I'm going to go out, I'm going to go to LinkedIn, or I'm going to do this, or I'm going to do that. And I'm going to go in search of prospects, or in search of relationships, or make connections on the connection generator and get on phone calls with people. Whatever it is you do, you have to see green on your calendar. The more green you see on your calendar, the more income possibilities and the more income potential you're going to end up with. Yes, so selling on Craigslist, yes. Any activity like that. For example, my son is huge at selling his clothes, right? And things of that nature. So he just got some sort of Michael Jordan Dior Air shoes, right? Some running shoe worth, I don't know, like 10 grand, right? And so he gets them, he buys them for less, and he flips them for more. So that's what he does. So when he goes out thrifting, right, he'll go to all of the different thrift stores. And Noelle, if she's on the call, she can relate to this totally. He'll go to thrift stores and then he'll make purchases. He'll find whatever, Dior bags, Prada, Gucci, anything he can find, and he brings that back. And then he puts it on in the marketplace for sale. That seems like a random activity until you actually sell things and you pull in $1,300 and $5,000 and $3,000, then that becomes a cash activity. So when you're doing things with the intention, like in that situation, with the intention of posting. So on Zoom, you can contact people privately. Yes, that's right. You can totally do that. You can get more from a Zoom online meeting by, while you're all on there, if somebody has had the opportunity to say something and you're like, ooh, I know I can help that person, then of course we have the Zoom private chat. So that's always a good feature. Yes, being an affiliate, right? Which we are for Be Connected, just being an affiliate for Amazon, being an affiliate for GoDaddy, whatever you're an affiliate for, right? Let's say then you could put on your calendar, today I'm going to find associations and make an appointment. Okay, so that's a cash seeking activity. And even though the cash doesn't produce on that day, you intentionally were looking for clients and buyers, right? So that's what you got to just think of. My Sean was buying shoes and then relisting them. That's Carol. Excellent. I know. Hey, I love that. I love that they think of different ways to do things, right? It's so cool. Okay, good. Panelist, yes. So absolutely. So if you are a panelist at a summit, that counts. Why? You're in front of people. You're telling people who you are and what you do. And all it takes is somebody watching live or in a replay to to say, oh my goodness, I need that. I should reach out to her, right? So the key to those activities, and again, it's why I do podcasts. Appearing on a podcast is a great thing. I make sure before I appear on the podcast, is it okay that I give out my landing page domain, right? Or a website. And if they say, no, you can't do anything like that, then I debate it. And it depends on the length of it, right? If I'm going to give an hour of my time to someone else's webinar, someone else's event, someone else's podcast, I need to make sure there's a potential to directly convert. Now, you being on that podcast, is that a cash calendar moment? It absolutely is. So if you're on a telesummit, a panel, anything where you're being seen by somebody else's public or audience, then you can put that down as a cash calendar moment. So here, for example, I obviously was going to speak at the North American Female Entrepreneurs of LA meeting, right? So that would have been a cash calendar. Here I was at an event of very high level entrepreneurs, for example. And so a Success Institute, right? That's an e-women thing. I was just profiled this past weekend for Success Institute, where I did a full hour training and submitted that to them for their back office. So people now going through and watching that, even though that was not promotional, it was just educational. Someone at the end of that's going to be like, oh my God, I need to take this woman's course. This is crazy. And then they go out and they seek the course. So yes, let's see what else we got here. So this training is not income producing. No, this is setting and getting your goals. That's a personal thing, right? So, and of course, income production is very important. If you want fast income, go and take my course called How to Create an Online Program Guaranteed to Sell. If you haven't taken that one, if you're looking for how do I make money today, go and do that course. I had people within 30 minutes make $1,000. That would have been Elizabeth Cullen. Laura Armstrong took the course. She made $3,000. The webinar training that is part of this platform as well. Robert, I forgot his last name, but he made 20 grand. He sold a coaching program for 20 grand after I trained him how to do a $500 program, and then he up-leveled to the 20. So that's fast cash. This, but and that's great, right? The fast cash program. But this, now we want to really start to plan, right? This is what this is. So there's the 3 trainings that I've done, or actually the 4 trainings that I've done so far are very specific to end goals, right? Online course guaranteed to sell, that's actually about fast money. Webinars is about making bulk money, right? So now you got your course, or now you've got something else. Well, get 15 people on a call. If you've heard my story on webinars, I had 13 people on a call, 7 people bought a $3,000 program. I made $21,000. That was the first webinar I did back in 2007. This is about the bigger picture, right? Because if you don't know, if you've first not planned, I don't know, there's some saying somewhat like if you fail to plan, you plan to fail, right? That's the truth, right? Otherwise, where are you going? You'll never know if you got there or not. What online calendar do you use? Yeah, so in my case, I use iCal, yes, for the Mac, right? A lot of people use Google Calendar. It doesn't, I think it's whatever you're comfortable with and whatever can integrate. Like, for example, when I do, mine integrates with Zoom. And so if somebody has booked a Zoom appointment with me, then that comes in my calendar and things of that nature. That's right. You got to set your GPS for success from Linda. Yeah, and Dave uses Google. Okay, recording video messages to invite to BK, or a phone call or a Zoom tour of BK. So if you're being intentional, for example, let's say you're on your phone. I like that. So you're on your phone and you're like, oh man, Sharon would be perfect for this. And then you're like, hey, Sharon, Sandy here. I've got this amazing group that I've joined where you can make connections. And in fact, right now you can get in for free. I want to tell you more about it. Call me back. Okay. That's a cash calendar moment. Exactly. And a phone call for sure. Anytime. Let's say every day you were the type of person that said, I'm going to call 10 people today, right? Like a true salesperson would have targets like that. You can put that on your calendar. If you're going to make 10 phone calls to prospects and really kind of make 10 connections, it's a little better because obviously, 10 prospects is great, but that is a green, you can have a green mark for that. But make it a habit or put in your intention that you plan on connecting with some of them. Some people go into sales calls or go into a call like, oh God, I hope I get voicemail, right? No, you better be hoping you get a person on the other end. That will save the back and forth dance that often occurs, the phone tag and all of those things. Go right for it. You've got a solution, whether it's your own personal service or it's the BK service, it doesn't matter. We have solutions to a drowning economy right now. And so don't be afraid to use every medium, including those outside of your comfort zone, to get people into your cash calendar. Because then you can say, hey, today I'm going to make 4 phone calls, right? That's a cash calendar. If you had that on your calendar every day, every single day you would be focusing on cash. Do you know what will happen? You will get cash. There's no question about it. I'm not saying you're getting cash today from phone calls today, but I'm saying at the end of 4 weeks, you're going to get cash. Those calls that you made are just going through their cycles and people are going to start to reach back. That's why everybody talks about that pipeline. It can take 6 to 8 weeks of activity to fill a pipeline, which means that you have enough to continue to have it occur and people call you back from weeks ago, right? And so that it's okay that there's this time lag between, the call that you made or the activity you did and the money coming in. But if you never did that and you never had anything on your cash calendar, 30 days from now, nothing's happening. Nothing's coming in, right? So that is going to be your exercise for today. Cool. Now, and then, remember in module 1, 2, we focused on setting your goals. So let's say you said, I'm going to make $1,500 this month, right? Then module 2 was about, okay, what are the activities you're going to do? What's your plan on making that? And we said, okay, well, I need to sell 3 programs at $500. I have a low-end coaching program or I have a low-end course or whatever it is. You need to go by your own numbers of what it is that you have to sell, right? And then you can start to plan now. So now you're going to go to your calendar and you're going to say, okay, my goal is to make $1,500 this month. To accomplish that, let's say you have, I don't know, let's say you have a $300 program, because $297 is what I teach in the course creation, right? So $297. The goal in How to Create an Online Course Guaranteed to Sell is to sell 10 of those. So you can start your course, so you can prime the pump, right? So, if you put something in your calendar every day on, I'm going to reach out to people here, I'm going to reach out to people on direct message chat and Facebook, I'm going to attend groups and mention that I've got a special offer for online course that I'm teaching and things of that nature, then you're intentionally seeking out 10 people, right? That's why that program works, because I switch everyone's focus. No one gets to build anything yet. No one gets to do anything but make that piece of paper, that irresistible offer, and go out and sell 10. And when you're focused on selling 10, you come home with $3,000, right? All right. And this is where we'll end this episode and continue our journey
on goal setting, setting and getting your goals in the next episode. For now, I'd like you to head to jointracy.com so you can take advantage of the free resources I have there for you, including the ability to get the full training on goal setting, plus some other amazing gifts.